Welcome to St. John's Community Health, South LA's Community Health Center. St. John's serves, now in our 60th year, we serve 144,000 unduplicated patients who come in for 550,000 medical, dental, and behavioral health visits. The reason that we've been able to continue to grow is because we continue to take care of and prevent disease and progression in our current patients, and then intervene and provide prevention and primary care to our new patients. And I think what's so exciting about this program of the Mayor's Fund is that the mayor's efforts are about getting people housed, but also preventing people from becoming homeless. And that's a very unique and very important strategy that's having tremendous success across the city. Under the leadership of Conway Collis, the Mayor's Fund has been able to prevent hundreds, indeed probably thousands of people from falling into homelessness. And so it's an honor to be here today to host Mayor Bass, who's doing an incredible job around making sure people are housed, making sure that they're healthy, and preventing them from falling into homelessness. So it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jim. And let me thank you for your leadership here at St. John's. St. John's plays such a vital role in our community in terms of providing comprehensive health services. And I really appreciate working with you, what we've done over the years, and I know what we will continue to do in the future. As Jim Manja said, it takes a comprehensive approach to address homelessness. Everyone knows that in the city of Los Angeles, we have over 40,000 Angelenos who sleep on the street, and 3 or 4 of them did not wake up this morning. In order to address this problem, we obviously need to focus, like Inside Safe does, on getting people out of street encampments and getting them housed. But before that, how about preventing people from ever becoming homeless to begin with? That is a vital component of the work that needs to be done to get us over the finish line to end homelessness in our city. And so preventing homelessness, the City Council, under the leadership of the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee, Nithya Raman, last year passed legislation that has allowed a database to be created of every individual in the city who might be facing an eviction. And so the idea is, if we can get to them before they fall out onto the streets, can we do something to protect them from falling into homelessness? And so we didn't want to just go about doing the work at the Mayor's Fund. We wanted to research the work as well to make sure that it was making the difference that we hoped it would. So we're here to announce the results of an independent study by the highly respected Applied Research Center at Loyola Marymount University under the leadership of Dr. Cheryl Grills. This research has showed that the new innovative program from the Mayor's Fund actually does prevent people from being unhoused. So the key to the program is one-on-one personal support, working with a caseworker. And a lot of times individuals don't realize that they actually are eligible for public benefits, for financial support, for food in the SNAP program. And connecting an individual with those benefits can provide the needed income to keep them from ever falling into homelessness to begin with. Again, a comprehensive strategy includes preventing people from falling into homelessness. You all are also familiar with this statistic that we can get 200 people off the street and then 200 more people fall into homelessness. It's not the same people falling in and out, but different populations do that. So preventing homelessness to begin with, getting people who are on the streets off the streets ASAP into interim housing, addressing why they fell into homelessness to begin with, and then moving that person on to permanent housing. Those are the steps of a comprehensive approach. And with that, I'd like to introduce the CEO of the Mayor's Fund, Conway Collis, and congratulate you for the work that you've initiated and what has been accomplished so far.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Bass, and thank you for your leadership, for the thousands of people that have been helped by the Mayor's Fund We Are LA program. They and all Angelenos owe you a debt of gratitude for your leadership during this time of great stress for Los Angeles. I'd like to introduce first the people who are with us today, because as we're going to discuss, it's the caseworkers who do the work. And I'd like to introduce the representatives of the organizations who we partner with to actually deliver the services that have saved thousands and thousands of Angelenos from becoming homeless. First, from Groundworks, we have Marcos Roman, Rosio Sabria, and Marisol Balestreros. Could you just wave so everybody can see you? Thank you. And from Esperanza Community Housing, Brandon Franco, Niles Callas, and Cecilio Cruz. Could also you wave and say hello? Thank you. And from St. John's, you'll see some of the St. John's We Are LA outreach workers who are at the tables across the street and on the clinic on this side, and also representing St. John's here, Diana Nunez and Amparito Dominguez. Also, thank you. And then later, you'll hear from Dr. Cheryl Grills and Dr. Ilia de la Cruz Toledo-He, as well as from Margot Gonzalez. You'll also hear from Diego Alvarez and Cici Castillo from the Eviction Defense Network. The Mayor's Fund We Are LA program has been working for 2 years now. So we've had a chance to make improvements in the program, to make the needed adjustments in the program. And we use some of the, modern technology and the newest software. For example, in custom software developed by Imagine LA, our caseworkers are able to quickly analyze all of the programs and services that an individual might be eligible for. And as the mayor mentioned, people can be leaving hundreds, even thousands of dollars on the table that they don't know they're eligible for, that maybe they don't know how to apply for. Perhaps they're afraid to. And the caseworkers are quickly able to analyze and actually get them signed up. And similarly, a lot of people who are faced with eviction get eviction notice and they don't know to answer it. And they lose their case automatically. And in another custom software, our caseworkers now actually file a legal answer for people online so that they don't lose automatically. So there's lots of new software, new technology. But here's the thing. The reason this program is successful is because of the caseworkers providing one-on-one, person-to-person support. That's really the difference. And so many people who have been served come out and talk about the fact that it makes them feel so differently to have someone that cares, that served them personally, and that's laid out a path to deal with their problems. Mayor Bass has talked about linking arms, and that's just what the caseworkers do. They link arms together. They link arms with their neighbors and fellow Angelenos to help them in a time of great need. Truth is, it's a hell of a good example. So lots of folks standing on the sidelines, some people criticizing. What's needed is for Angelenos to link arms and help each other, and that's exactly what our caseworkers are doing. The study shows, as Dr. Grills will outline, that thousands of people have been helped by the program. But there are also major improvements that have taken place since the study was done. It covered March through August of last year. For example, we've increased our outreach in addition to reaching out to everyone, as the mayor indicated, who's received a notice of eviction, which is filed by the city in a partnership with the city. We get that list. People get at least 3 pieces of mail, one signed by the mayor, to ask them to call our hotline so that they can get direct services. But we're also now expanding our outreach through faith-based organizations, through the schools where St. John's has school-based clinics, and directly to immigrant communities who are obviously at a special risk right now. But the single biggest improvement has been our partnership with the Eviction Defense Network, EDN. Through that partnership, the Mayor's Fund is funding the intake operation that EDN pioneered and hasn't been able to fully implement because of funding over the years, so that everyone who we refer over to, the caseworkers refer over to EDN, now gets help, professional help, to develop their case. And then when it's time to go to trial, they actually get a lawyer, not just a self-help workshop to help them. And the client navigator, Diego Alvarez, is here, and Cecile Castillo, a paralegal, are both here. If you could just wave so people know, and they'll be available to answer questions after the press conference. The whole point of today is the study, and as the mayor indicated, critical to get an independent research, a respected research organization to do an independent study of what the Mayor's Fund has done. And there's been no one better to do that than renowned researcher Dr. Cheryl Grills and her colleague Dr. Elio de la Cruz Toledo He. Cheryl Grills has been the principal navigator in major national research entities looking at disparities, the social determinants of health, prevention mechanisms across the country. It's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Cheryl Grills.
Thank you, Conway. Good morning, everyone. I'll be brief. I'm an academic, so that's going to be hard. So, homelessness is often characterized as an individual deficit caused by issues such as mental illness, substance use, family instability, trauma and violence, adverse life events, or disability. If we limit our assessment of homelessness to these factors, we may miss the big picture of personal and structural forces that are at play. At the end of the day, our intervention is only going to be as strong as our analysis of the issues. Understanding the drivers of becoming unhoused, the length of time one is unhoused, and recycling in and out of homelessness is essential if our goal is substantive, sustainable, and humane change. The We Are LA study examined one potential driver, evictions. The study examined the effect of legal services to LA City residents who received an eviction notice, offering legal assistance and connections to resources that can help people stay in their homes. The study's sample consisted of a survey of 677 LA City residents who had received services from the We Are LA program. This is no minor accomplishment to get 677 surveys from this population, which can be challenging to access and reach. Nearly 2/3 of participants were primarily women, 69%, and while it was a racially diverse sample, 71% of the study participants included Latinx members of the community, 17% were African American or Black, 5% white, 1% Asian, and 3% reported other ethnicities. It's also important to note that half of the participants had children in their household. at the time of eviction notification. About a third had one child, a third had two children, and 30% had three or more children. We have to pay attention to these details. And so what kinds of things were revealed? Very briefly, between 68 to 85% of participants who received eviction support from WeRLA reported positive impacts from eviction assistance. This includes things like 68% of folks reporting an improvement in their finances and 85% reporting an improvement in their circumstances. Of great importance is the finding that nearly three-quarters of participants, 74%, reported improvements in housing stability after receiving eviction support. To estimate the broader overall impact of WeRLA, we took that finding of 68 to 85% who reported positive impacts and focused on the 74% that reported improvements in their housing stability to calculate what that means for the larger client population of 840 people served during the 6-month period when the survey took place. This means better housing stability was experienced by between 29,846 to 33,558 of the 42,840 LA residents. This is an encouraging result, and I'll close. This should be further explored over a longer period of time, and including things like, 1, more information about the timing of the support received, and 2, more specific questions about participants' life circumstances. We need to understand what brought people to the eclipse of eviction, what their life circumstances and needs are, and what would make a difference in disrupting the trajectory toward becoming unhoused. For example, we found Medi-Cal, CalFresh, and CalWorks to be among the most common supports people received or needed. Perhaps as telling as this is the general observation that most participants received at least one type of support in addition to eviction support. So by looking at the whole person, we can begin learning about the human stories not captured in merely counting the number of people placed in temporary or permanent housing. It begins to reveal the drivers of becoming unhoused and the pathways for sustainable departures from homelessness. In other words, comprehensive services that speak to the unique needs of individuals matter, and it must be examined. And this study provided a foundation for deepening our understanding of one of the drivers and strategies to disrupt homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Grills. I said that the reason that this program is successful, the reason that those thousands of people were helped, is really because of the caseworkers and the one-on-one support. I'd like to introduce Marcos Roman from our Crenshaw office run by Groundworks. Marcos?
Thank you, Conway. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcos Roman. I am a caseworker at the WeRLA program. Every day when I come into work, I help members of the Los Angeles community who fear they are going to be soon evicted. I connect them to resources. I help them get responses to unlawful detainer notices to the court in time. I help them get legal aid. So many people come to us in a panic. They don't even know where to get started because the landlords have all the power. Most of them want to make things right and get caught up on their bills. Most of all, they're afraid they'll end up homeless. It is incredibly gratifying that so many people tell us how comforted they feel to have the support of someone who cares. They are appreciative. We're helping them get the assistance they need and work through their problem to stay housed. A tenant I recently helped named Elena was behind on her rent for 2 months. She came to the WeRLA program after receiving an eviction notice. With us helping her file the legal response, it gave her more time since she had a payment on its way. She was able to pay the landlord and come to an agreement, and the landlord ended up dismissing the case. I am proud that my job is helping people in need, and I am happy this study shows we're making a real difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcos. Our last speaker is Margot Gonzalez, who is a tenant who was helped by the program, and I think we all owe her a debt of gratitude for her courage to fight her way through the process and to be here with us today. Margot?
Good morning. I'm incredibly grateful for the Mayor's Fund for LA. We are LA. Because of them, I was able to stay in my home. Over the course of a couple of years, my financial situation changed. I lost one or more source of my income. After I put in for my retirement from a full-time job, my sister, who I was a caregiver for, passed away. I also lost my caregiving job from another source and ultimately fell behind on my rent. Last fall, I received an eviction notice from my landlord. I was worried about losing my apartment because it's even more difficult to find a two-bedroom at the current rate. I'm also supporting my adult daughter who's working through mental health issues, so I really needed this two-bedroom. Soon after getting the notice, I got a letter from We Are LA, and I went to them to get help in dealing with my situation. They were really kind, and they worked with me to fill out my legal response to the eviction notice. Without the response, I would have been evicted immediately. We Are LA connected me to the Eviction Defense Network, where I was able to get legal services. As a result of their help, I was able to settle with my landlord and stay in my apartment with my daughter. I love my home, and being able to stay in it is truly a second chance for me. No longer worrying about being evicted and needing to find a new place to live took a load off my back. I could not have done this without the help of We Are LA. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. We have time for a few questions. Any questions? Oh, do you want Marcos? Yeah.
Sure. El día de hoy, la alcaldesa Karen Bass anunció una nueva investigación independiente que muestra que el programa We Are LA, o Somos Los Ángeles, está logrando mantener a las personas en sus hogares y evitando que sean desalojadas. Esta nueva investigación muestra que decenas de miles de personas atendidas durante solo 6 meses del programa We Are LA, o Somos Los Ángeles, de la alcaldesa, habían mejorado su estabilidad de vivienda. Y no se trata solo de cifras, sino de acciones estratégicas que prevén que las familias terminen en las calles. Parte de la comprensiva estrategia de la alcaldesa Karen Bass para enfrentar la crisis de personas sin hogar.
Thank you. Thank you again. We have time for a few questions.
For the mayor, can you tell me what your response is to Gavin Newsom's call for cities to ban homeless encampments?
Sure. Well, first of all, I certainly share the governor's frustration and also have appreciated his partnerships. As a matter of fact, we recently received a grant to resolve encampments from the state, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. We do not think it is necessary to pass a law saying encampments are banned, and you know we do have a vehicle when council members choose to use it, 4118. Our focus has been getting people off the streets and into housing, and we've actually not had difficulty doing that. Our Inside Safe team has resolved more than 100 encampments so far and have gone back to those same locations where the encampments were in case tents come up again, which is why for the first time in many years we had a decrease in street homelessness. The very encampments the governor is talking about, we decreased them by 10% in 2023. We're waiting on a confirmation of the 2024 numbers, but we have reason to believe from the preliminary data that street encampments have decreased even further.
Are you at all concerned about the city's ability to tackle homelessness now that LASA is about to lose funding?
Well, LASA is actually, I mean, the difference is the funding from LASA was moved to the county. It's not as though it went away completely. I'm always concerned, and I'm concerned about the direction that the county is going because the LASA was a joint agreement between the city and the county, and that is essentially broken right now. So I am concerned about that. However, I do believe that the plans that we have been working out, especially during this budget cycle, that we will continue to strengthen our ability to get people off the street, to move them into interim housing. What I really hope that we're able to accomplish over this next fiscal year is more interim housing at a lower rate than motels. But we have been and do plan to continue doing that, regardless of what has happened with LASA.
And any update from state officials on assistance with the budget deficit?
No, waiting to hear. I am concerned, though, the preliminary information that has come out. The May revise will come out this week, but the preliminary information shows a pretty massive deficit on the state side as well. But I have definitely not given up hope and have been in communication with the governor.
So are you confident that there's enough financial aid or assistance to keep the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles and We Are LA?
Yes, you should know that the Mayor's Fund is not funded by city funds. This is private philanthropy, and you can speak to that.
Sure. Our support is solid. It is totally non-governmental, although we do connect people to government funding. Interestingly, I think that most of our funding has come from healthcare organizations because the reason is that the most important thing we can do for someone's health is to keep them from becoming homeless. So that support appears to be strong, and we certainly hope, and it seems like it will continue.
Let me just add to that in terms of the health support for the Mayor's Fund. What a lot of people don't realize is that sometimes individuals' health circumstances leads to homelessness. We get fixated on substance abuse and mental health, but I have certainly met people with diabetes, with cancer, with other chronic diseases that have compromised their ability to work and undermined their ability to pay rent. Any other questions? Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.